This video is going to be an overview for 4.2.4.4 lab, Packet Tracer lab for the NETI 105 course. And on this lab, you're going to have a PDF file to download and a PKA file. So you've already got some things set up in Packet Tracer. So you want to download both of those files. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the PDF file, and we're just going to take a look at that real quick. This is what our lab will look like, or this is our topology. We have our console cables, we have our Ethernet cables, we have everything, our wireless connections. So this is what it's going to look like when we're done. And then we scroll down here. This is our addressing table. This is going to give us, where it's going to connect, which ports, whether it's coax or RS-232. Right here, fiber, F01, port 1, Ethernet 1, all of that. So our objectives are, we're going to have 5 here. We're going to connect to the cloud, connect to router 0, connect the remaining devices. We're going to verify our connections, and then we're going to examine the physical topology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Packet Tracer, open up the PKA file, and we'll get started. Okay, so I've downloaded my Packet Tracer file here, the PKA file, and I'm running in my Windows 7 machine here with Cisco Packet Tracer. And it's going to open up for me, and I've already logged in previously, so it's going to log in for me. And what I like about the Packet Tracer is it gives me, let me move it up here, my machine, there we go. It's going to give me my actual lab, and then it's going to give me the activity as well. So what I like to do here is I make this a little bit, well, let me do this here, make that larger, and then I bring the Packet Tracer in here and just put it over here like this so that I can follow down through with it, or you can put it on a PDF outside there, which is what you can also do there, especially if you're going to need to answer some questions. I've already downloaded this PDF and I have it, so you're going to need to answer some questions for the actual lab, so you'll need to fill in these questions here. And to do that, you can't do that from inside Packet Tracer. It'll ask you the questions there, or it'll have them on there, or it'll have the actual lab, but it's not going to have the questions for you. So you want to be mindful that the questions that you have to answer for the actual lab to submit are in the PDF file. And don't open those in a internet browser or your Chrome browser or a browser, because you won't be able to save your work in there or your submitted answers. What will happen is you'll save that, and it just won't save it if you're in a browser window. So you want to make sure that you download that PDF, and then you're able to fill in the forms then. And I'm using, I think, Windows 10 PDF Reader, but you can do Adobe Acrobat Reader, whichever one works for you. So let's get started with this lab. We've got our addressing here, but our first step, it says we want to connect to the cloud, or connect the cloud to router 0. So at the bottom left, click the orange lightning icon to open up the available connections. And I'm going to minimize that, and I'm just going to bring this up. It's a little bit smaller here on the video for you, but at least I can read down through. Actually, let me do this here, and no, it won't let me make it any larger in here for you. So I'll bring that PDF up from time to time to show it to you larger. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on the orange lightning bolt here, and these are our connections. And these connections are going to be a variety here, and just hover over those if you're not sure what they are. Don't do the cheat way and just do the automatic connection. What you want to do is understand why you're connecting, what you're connecting, and which cables you're connecting. Because here in the Packet Tracer, we're in the virtual environment, but in the real world, you're actually going to need to know what those cables are and what they look like. So you might take a moment to go out and look on the internet and see, okay, I'm connecting in this activity. I'm connecting we're going to connect the correct cable to connect router 0, F00 to cloud Ethernet 6. And if we look up here, or if we go back and look at our PDF, we're going to see what type of wiring we have here, and that's our cable modem to the cloud, and we've got the the blue wire there, and if we match that up, that's coax cable. See, that's coax cable that we're going to go from our cable modem to the cloud. But if you do the cheat way, see, it's going to do. Oh, they do have it locked. They have the automatic locked on this lab, so that's good. So what I'm going to do here, I just changed my view around a little bit, and what I'm going to do is show this here, and then I'm able to show both of my, I'm able to show the workspace here and what we're actually doing. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the correct router, and it's telling us that the bottom left, click the orange to open available connections. We're going to choose the correct cable to connect router 0 to Cloud Ether 6, so to the Cloud Ethernet 6. And that's the type of switch. The cloud is a type of switch, so you use a copper straight through. So we're just going to come down here and do a copper straight through, and we're going to connect to Fast Ethernet 00. And on the cloud, we're going to connect to Ethernet 6. And that cloud would be some type of device that's provided by the internet provider. In this case, it's telling us that that's a switch on there. And then we're going to choose, we chose the correct cable for that. Now we're going to connect the cloud to the cable modem. And we're going to choose the correct cable to do that. And if we do the correct cable, it should attach properly. And again, I'm going to look at our PDF here, and that's our cable that we're going to use. And we're going to use the coax cable for that. So we're going to just go into coax. And on here, there's only one option here. You just need to be familiar with the types of connections that we're doing. On the back of the actual router, you need to know what a coax cable looks like when it's connecting. And let me pull up a picture here to show you. And I'm going to connect the cable modem here, and I'm going to go into the port 0. And this is what a coax looks like on here. But let me, and of course it turns green. And let me go pull up a picture here to show you. And I just did a quick Google search of coax connectors. And these are some different coax connectors. There's one right there that it would look like that's the male connector there. There's a female, there's an extension there. There's a female connector there where I can put a male on each side. And if I was looking at the back of a router here, that would be the coax connector there. So you just need to know what those look like and be familiar with those different types of connections. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the coax cable. We are now running because we have green lights on there. The next connection is we're going to connect router 0 to router 1, router 0 to router 1. And we want to connect from serial 000 to router 1 serial 00. And so we're going to do the serial cables. And so we're going to come down here, and we're going to use serial DCE on this one. So we're going to go serial 000 here. And on router 1, we're going to go to serial 00. And we've got green lights on there. Now in the real world, it would take, maybe take a little bit more time to come up, and we'd have to turn the routers on, go in and configure the routers and turn all that on. But it's pre-set up for us here in this lab for these beginning levels for us. And then we're going to come down and we're going to connect router 0 to configure to the terminal. So we're going to choose the correct cable to connect router 0 console to the RS-232. So we're going to do a console cable here, and we're going to do the configuration terminal. And we're going to do our console port. We're going to go router 0. We're going to select console, and that's going to give us our connection there. They turn black to let us know that we're on there. Now we're going to connect our remaining devices. So we're going to connect router 1 to the switch. So we want to do the router 1 to the switch. And we're going to go from FA10 to switch FA01. And that lets me know, if we look at our PDF, we can see what those are going to be connected. And now that is a red cable. So that's going to be serial. So if you're looking at that, you want to do a serial device. And we're just going to select the DCE again. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go serial 01, which is my only port left available. And on the switch, I only have one serial port here. Okay, and I was doing serial, but that one's actually a fiber. The connectors here are showing red on both of these, so it throws me off on the color. So let's figure out why we would do a serial connector or do a fiber versus a serial connector. So let's look at our ports on the back of our devices here. And this is a good lessons learned on what we need to look for when we're looking at our devices. And so if we look at the back of the device here, we look at our device and we look at our connectors that are available. We know we don't have any serial connectors on here. These are our Ethernet ports. This is our fiber connection, and these are our console ports on here. So we don't have any serial connectors on here. So when we're looking at our router and we're looking at our devices on here, we know we have Ethernet still open. We have our console, we have our auxiliary, and we have our fiber optic there, and we have our Ethernet there. So if we went to do a serial connector to our router, There is a serial port there, and we could connect it, but on our switch there is no serial port. And that's what I tried to do. I tried to connect a serial, and I can't do that because there's nothing there. So I'm just going to press escape, move out of there. I'm going to go back to my fiber optics, and so I'm going to connect to my fiber here. And on my switch, I'm going to connect to the fiber optic, and it should come up in a few seconds. And if it doesn't come up, we can just fast forward time, which is the nice thing about Packet Tracer. Next, we're going to connect our cable modem to the wireless router. Cable modem to the wireless router. Let's take a look at our eventual ending there. So we look like we have an Ethernet connector there. So let's look at our ports. So we have Ethernet here. We have our power supply. Is that a power supply? Oh, there's our coax. We have coax and we have Ethernet. So let's go look at our wireless router here. And let's zoom in on that. And do we have coax on that? No, we do not have coax. So we're going to have to go Ethernet on that. So we're going to go copper straight through. We're going to go into port 1. Down here in our wireless router, we're going to connect, let's see, wireless. We're going to go to our internet. Now, the difference between putting it on our Ethernet ports here and our internet ports, if we put it on our Ethernet, it would be on the LAN. It would just work more like a pass-through, like a hub or a switch. And that's not what we're wanting to do. We actually want to have internet connection, and we want to be able to configure that on the wireless router in the software. So we want to connect that to the internet port, which is our external port, or essentially saying external port for that wireless router. And the next what we're going to do is we're connect our wireless router to the family PC. So our family PC down here, it's not connected, but we're going to wire that in. So we're going to connect that into the port on that. So we're going to use an Ethernet for that. And we can look at our family PC and we can say, okay, let's look at our backside here. Or let's look at our port. Let's zoom in here. And we only have a fast Ethernet on there. So we don't have fiber. We don't have coax. We don't have any of that. We're using a fast Ethernet. So let's use an Ethernet cable. And we're going to click on here. And we're going to go into our fast Ethernet port. And on our wireless router, is it telling us which one it's telling? Yeah, it's telling us to go into Ethernet port 1. In the big scheme of things, when you're doing this on your home routing, it really doesn't matter which one you go into. All 4 of them are going to work the same. You just need to have some type of rhyme or reason. That's up to you, whether you're going to be a little bit OCD about it, which one goes into where. And on your labeling, when you start labeling your cables, which one goes into where. But on this case, we're going to go to Ethernet 1. And it'll come up in a few seconds. If we fast forward time, it will. There we go. And so we've done all the steps there. Now we're going to verify our connections. We're going to connect. We're going to verify our connections. And to do that, we're going to test the connection from the family PC to Netacad PKA. So we're going to open the family PC, do a command prompt, and ping netacad.pka. And then we're going to open the web browser and then do the web address. And I like to, instead of typing that, I think I can copy and paste that. So we're going to open the family PC here. And we're going to go to the command prompt. So let's go to our desktop. Let's go to our command prompt. And let's ping netacad.pka. Am I getting anything on here? And we're not. And why are we not? Because I never connected the net. Did I miss that step? I think I missed that step in the router 0 to net KPA. I skipped step 2. So this is another good example in the video here. And if you've watched my videos, you know I don't always do them 100% accurate, and I don't go back and re-record them. So you get to see the mistakes that I make. And I do that because I'm moving fast down through this, and I'm not checking off each one of these steps. And usually what I'll do with this, I'll either have it printed out and I'll have a little check mark that I physically put on there, or I'll do some type of screenshot so that I can check it off, and I'll show you how to do that on there. What I'll do is I'll use like the snipping tool here, and I'll just go in and I'll snip like this a file, and then that way when I'm coming down through here I can check it off and I say, okay, I've got checked off step 1, and then as I do each step, then I know I've checked them off. That's just kind of a little tip that I use, and I'm not doing it on this video, and you can see the result of that. So what I need to do now is, I'm not going to save that, is I need to connect router 0 to netacad.pka, and it's saying using the FA01 on there and FA02. So it's giving us the information here that routers and computers use the same wires to transmit and receive. So the correct cable to choose consists of these crossed wires. And many NICs can now auto sense though. So, but it does not have auto sensing. So we need to connect the correct cable on there. And so see, it's showing a little dashed line on there. And so we're going to use this dash line, which is a copper crossover. So we're going to do our fast Ethernet here, and we're going to connect F01, and everything is up and running. And now we should be able to move back down to our verifier connections, go to our command prompt. Now we should be able to ping netacad.pka, and hopefully it'll go through this time. And let's look and see if everything's working right. Maybe it's not. We'll give it a second here. Okay, there it goes. It just took it a second to go through. So if we do another ping, yeah, it's going through. You had to build the tables. And in Packet Tracer, that's going to happen. In the real world and with live lab equipment, it's going to work a little bit faster because you're going to have everything set up. It's going to build the tables, but in this case, it had to go to the cloud and build it. So we know we're connected now there. And now we're going to open our web browser. So we're going to go back to our desktop here, and we're going to open up our web browser here. And we're going to paste in that address, netacad.pka, and we're going to try to go to that. And there we go, your favorite page, netacad.pka. And then we should be able to ping the switch now too. So we should be able to ping the switch from the home PC. So the home PC command and ping the switch IP address to verify the connection. And let's go back and look at our connections here. So we should be able to ping the switch over here. So open the home PC command, ping the switch IP address to verify the connection on that. So on that one, we're going to see if we can ping that. And what we'll have to do is pull up our PDF file, and we'll have to look at our table here. And we'll have to look at our switch, and it's 172.16.02. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy that, make it easier here. Go back into our desktop there, go into our command prompt. Oh, it doesn't, I don't have the same commands here. Let's exit out of there and do okay. So we're going to ping. Let me see if I can paste that. There we go. Nope. It's not passing through. So we need to do 172.16.0.2. 172.16.0.2. Did I get the right one? 0.2. And we're pinging. And do we get anything back? And it requests times out because we're not able to ping through the cloud and ping that actual switch on that. That's what we see on there. We don't actually see that ping through there. But we should be able to see it. Hold on. Oh, yeah, there we go. It did come through. I was going to say we should be able to see that. But the first two timed out. Now, if we do it a second time, it should go through faster this time. There we go. It's just in Packet Tracer, sometimes it has to build the tables on here, so you just have to be a little bit patient with it. And then next, so we ping the switch from the home PC. Now we're going to open router 0 from the configuration terminal. We're going to close those. We're going to open this here. We're going to open up their desktop, and we're going to go into our terminal. We're going to connect, and there we go. And we're going to enable, and we're going to show IP interface brief. There we go. And there's our interface information there. And next we're going to examine the cloud. So on the examine the cloud, we're going to click on the physical workspace, and that's this link right here. It's the physical workspace, and we're going to click on the home city icon, and that's going to show us our there. And then we're going to click on the cloud icon, and that's going to give us our cloud connector. So how many wires are connected to the switch in the blue rack, and you're going to put how many are in there. And that answer is already there. And then click back to return to the home city. And we're going to examine our primary network. So click on the primary network icon. And there we go. Here's our networking equipment here. Hold the mouse pointer over various cables, and it's should pop up for you after you hold it over there, and it's going to show you your different devices. So you want to check out all of those. Click on the secondary network. Check out all of these by holding your, there's my fiber there. There's a serial. Okay, and then we're going to examine the home network. So we're going to click in there, examine our home network. These are our 2 family PCs. You can scroll over and look at your cable modem on the desktop there. Look at your home printer. Look at your wireless router. You can hover over that and see the different ones there. And you want to answer these questions in the lab. Where's the oval? Why is there an oval mesh covering the home network? So why is this mesh here? Why do we have that mesh? You want to answer that question. A hint, that's your wireless access point. And then click on the home network icon. Why is there no rack to hold the equipment in the home network? Well, unless you've installed a rack. There's probably not going to be a rack in there because it's just home equipment. And then click on the logical workspace to return to the logical topology. And do a screenshot of this that you've connected here. You don't need to do screenshots of all of it, but just do a screenshot of this last part right here that you've connected everything and got it running and that it's actually got your lab information on there. And that should be it. So drop me a question if you have one in the comments below on the YouTube video. For those of you in my actual class, you can email me through the NetAcad course or through my regular email and leave comments if you have any feedback or anything like that. But I hope this was helpful for you.